Good afternoon. Apologies for the sudden message. My name is Carrie Mason, and I represent your ex-wife, Laura. May I confirm that this is the number of Mr. Harrison Tate?
Yeah, this is Harrison. Who exactly did you say you are again?
Carrie Mason, licensed attorney with Line Legal Group. I've been retained by Miss Laura Prescott, your former spouse.
Right, okay. Gotta say, this is a little out of the blue. I haven't spoken to Laura in almost 3 years. What's this about?
It's in regard to a matter of considerable legal importance, namely your recent marriage to a woman named Marissa.
That's public knowledge? Not really something I expected to be controversial. What's the issue here?
The issue, Mr. Tate, is that you entered into a second marriage less than 3 years after your legal separation from Miss Prescott, and you did so without obtaining a formal consent waiver.
A formal what now?
A post-divorce spousal replacement waiver. It's required under Regulation 3B of the Domestic Reconciliation Framework. You cannot remarry within a 3-year post-dissolution period unless said waiver is filed and notarized by the former spouse.
I'm sorry, regulation what? You're saying I needed permission from my ex-wife to get married again?
Not permission, authorization. There's a difference. It's a procedural safeguard designed to protect the emotional and logistical integrity of the former marital arrangement.
This sounds completely made up. I've never heard of any law like that, and I've gone through a real divorce with real lawyers.
Well, Mr. Tate, not everyone is familiar with advanced family code applications. This is a common oversight among lay people and one that carries consequences.
Lay people? Okay, so you're saying I broke some kind of law by moving on with my life?
What I'm saying is that you've engaged in what is classified under Code 3B as an unauthorized relational reentry. This is a serious breach. You may not feel the consequences now, but they are indeed pending.
Unauthorized relational re-entry? That's not a thing. I don't even know what that is.
It's defined as the act of remarrying without prior validation from the affected former spouse within a restricted timeline. In simpler terms, you skipped a step.
And what does this supposed step usually involve?
A notarized Form SRW-14, confirmation of emotional disentanglement, co-signed by the prior partner, along with proof of post-separation conflict resolution efforts.
That is the most absurd string of words I've ever read. I'm gonna need some actual legal citations here, because this is sounding more and more like a prank.
Mr. Tate, if you continue to disregard the procedural requirements laid out under the Marital Transition Code, you may be exposing yourself to civil penalties.
Penalties for getting remarried within 3 years? Is this an actual statute? Because my attorney, my real attorney, never mentioned anything like this.
I'm aware. Most attorneys overlook this because it's not widely publicized, but that does not make it less enforceable. The law does not cease to exist simply because someone chooses to remain uninformed.
Right, and you're sure this isn't a very creative scam?
I assure you, I'm an accredited legal representative acting on behalf of Miss Prescott. You would be well advised to take this seriously.
Look, I haven't had a single conversation with Laura since the day the papers were signed. So if this is really about my new marriage, you're gonna have to do better than made-up acronyms and imaginary codes.
Then perhaps I should proceed with the formal notice of violation and initiate mediation filings, unless you'd prefer to handle this outside of litigation.
Wow, you really commit to the bit, don't ya?
The only bit I'm committed to is the equitable enforcement of the law. Now, Mr. Tate, given your violation, Laura is prepared to seek restitution in the amount of $50,000. That is the minimum statutory amount of compensation for emotional damages caused by your premature remarriage.
$50,000? You're serious?
It's standard for a non-consensual remarriage infraction. Emotional compensation is a legally supported measure in cases like this.
Non-consensual remarriage infraction? You're just mashing words together at this point. What law is this supposedly under?
The Emotional Stability and Relational Integrity Clause, subsection 14A, as outlined in the Extended Family Framework 2011 revision. Are you not familiar?
No, because that sounds like something written by someone who's watched too many daytime legal dramas. Is there a statute number, a court precedent, anything verifiable?
You don't need citations to feel accountability, Mr. Tate. And frankly, continued denial only worsens your standing in potential proceedings.
Hold on, you're saying if I don't pay 50 grand today, I'm going to court?
If you refuse to comply, Laura has instructed me to begin filing immediately. You will be sued under emotional negligence causes, and quite frankly, it won't look good when taken in front of a jury of your peers.
Emotional negligence? What even is that? You're telling me I'm liable because my ex is upset I moved on?
You remarried without closure, without validating the psychological impact on the former spouse. That is an abandonment of emotional due diligence. It has consequences.
Wow, that's impressive. You managed to sound threatening, vague, and completely unserious in the same sentence.
You are mocking a legitimate legal process. That's not wise.
I'm mocking a scam that barely knows what due process means, but sure, let's keep going. What firm are you with again?
Line Law Office. I'm a senior partner.
Line, which stands for...
Don't bother me with such ridiculous questions. It stands for Legal Integrity and Neutral Enforcement. We're boutique, but fully credentialed.
I'll want to verify that. Could you send over your bar license number and a digital copy of the original claim?
I don't release my personal ID over unsecured messaging platforms, and I don't need to. The demand is valid, the infraction occurred, the debt is due.
You're asking me to hand over thousands of dollars without providing even basic credentials?
Because your liability is clear, documentation is a formality at this stage. Either you pay or we escalate. Your call.
You know what? I'd like to talk it over with my legal counsel before I make any decisions.
That won't be necessary. Your counsel isn't involved in this specific grievance.
She's my wife, also a real lawyer. Pretty sure she counts.
Oh, I see. So you're going to consult your new wife about how to compensate your old one. Interesting choice.
She'll love this. She just got promoted, actually. Manages her firm's litigation department. She'll get a real kick out of your Clause 14A.
You have until Friday at noon. After that, the matter leaves my hands and enters the judicial system.
Perfect. I'll bring it to my legal team and circle back. You can expect a response Friday at noon. Hey, you on break yet?
Just now. Yeah, I'm still at the office, though.
As if I expected anything less of my favorite workaholic. I think you'll be pulling another all-nighter?
Well, let's just say, don't wait up for me tonight.
You know me, Marissa. There isn't a thing you can say to get me not to wait up for you. Anyway, I didn't mean to bother you. It's just something weird came up and I wanted your opinion.
Weird how? It's not like you to text midday unless someone's bleeding.
No, there's no blood. It's just a load of nonsense. Nonsense! Legal nonsense, actually.
Okay, now I'm interested. What kind of legal nonsense?
I just had a very interesting text conversation. I'll send you the screenshots. Take a look when you get a sec.
Wow. Okay. Give me a second to stop laughing.
So I'm not losing it?
Not even close. First red flag. No real attorney makes contact like this. We don't cold text legal demands like we're haggling over Craigslist furniture.
She said her name's Carrie Mason and that she represents Laura.
Yeah, I caught that. And she said she's with Line Law Office.
Stands for Legal Integrity and Neutral Enforcement, according to her.
Oh, that's rich. That's not a real firm. There's no such entity registered in the state, not as a firm, not as a nonprofit, not even as a shell company. I just checked.
And the name?
No attorney named Carrie Mason in the bar database, no aliases, no license pending, nothing. She's a ghost.
That's what I thought. I figured I'd run it by you before assuming Laura was actually behind this.
Oh, it's her for sure, or she's at least in on it. I'd bet my next retainer.
Think you could put me in touch with someone from your firm's PI network? I want to know who I'm actually dealing with here.
I'll text Evan now. He specializes in fraud backgrounds and asset trails. If this Carrie Mason is who we think she is, he'll find it.
Thanks. I didn't expect to get hit with a fake lawyer at lunchtime.
Well, that's what you get for marrying into legal circles. Even your ex wants in on the game.
Let's just hope we catch the punchline before Friday.
We will, trust me. This Carrie picked the wrong couple to bluff. Good afternoon, Mr. Tate. As per our agreement, I'm following up regarding the $5,000 emotional compensation. Shall I provide the transfer details?
No need. There's no payment coming, because I know who you are, Laura.
I'm sorry. I believe there's been a misunderstanding. I'm Carrie Mason, legal representative for Miss Laura Prescott.
Right, except you're not. You're Laura, and this whole Carrie Mason act, it's over.
That's a serious accusation, Mr. Tate. I suggest you tread carefully. You're already facing legal action. Do you really want to add slander?
There's no line law office. I checked. There's no lawyer named Carrie Mason registered anywhere in this state, and that firm doesn't exist in any legal directory.
Your attempts to deflect won't protect you. The violation occurred. The clock is ticking. If I don't receive confirmation of payment by end of day, legal filings begin.
You don't get it, do you? There's no such law requiring an ex's permission to remarry? That post-divorce spousal waiver? You made it up! It's not real!
You really think someone like you can outsmart a legal professional?
Someone like me?
Yes, you. You're nothing but a glorified clerk, a paper pusher who married into status. You don't know the first thing about the law. You're bluffing.
Actually, I do. I passed the bar last month. I've been studying for 4 years, quietly. Took the exam in June. Got certified in July. I start work Monday at Marissa's firm.
What?
It is. And since we're talking about law, you impersonated a licensed attorney, Laura. That's a felony, and I've already reported you.
Wait, Harrison, no. You're taking this too far.
Too far? You invented a fake identity, demanded $5,000, and tried to scare me with imaginary statutes. This isn't too far. This is the law catching up to you.
Okay, fine. It's me, Laura. You happy now?
Go on.
Why'd you have to ruin it? I was just trying to get what's fair.
Fair? You pretended to be your own lawyer and made up laws. That's not fair. That's delusional.
Derek said it would work. He's done stuff like this before, and it usually scares people enough to pay up. He swore it'd be clean.
Derek, the guy you left me for, the one who's currently under investigation for 3 separate fraud cases?
How was I supposed to know he was actually a criminal? He said he used to consult for lawyers. He said they do this kind of thing all the time.
What, impersonating counsel and inventing family law clauses? That's not consulting, that's textbook fraud!
I even picked a name that sounded trustworthy. Carrie Mason? Come on, that's got courtroom drama vibes. People believe that.
You were aiming for Perry Mason, weren't you?
I didn't think anyone would notice.
You don't need a name from TV, you need a lawyer, a real one!
Ugh, I can't believe this backfired so badly. I thought I covered my tracks.
Exactly what tracks did you cover? You texted from your actual number, Laura! The same number you had when we were together!
But I told you my name was Carrie Mason. Oh, man, this sucks. I should have known you'd become a lawyer someday. You always were a stickler for the rules. Even when we were married, everything had to be by the book. You wouldn't even let me forge your signature on the mortgage application. Haven't you chilled out at all in the last few years? Like, can't you just let this slide?
You faked credentials, attempted extortion, and dragged my new marriage into your little scheme. So no, I really can't.
It wasn't supposed to go this far. We just needed some cash to cover a few things, and this seemed easier than begging.
And your grand plan was to pretend to be a lawyer and invoice me for heartbreak?
Oh, please, you're making it sound worse than it is.
Believe me, Laura, however bad I'm making it sound, the reality is much, much worse. I already spoke to the authorities, by the way.
You mean you were serious about that?
You impersonated a licensed attorney! That's fraud! And the moment you demanded money under that identity, that crossed the legal line.
But I didn't take any money.
Take it from a lawyer, that doesn't matter. Intent is enough to charge you.
You can't be serious. You actually reported me?
I sure did, but don't feel too bad though, you won't be alone on the witness stand.
What does that mean?
Your boyfriend Derek, he's already in custody. He's been under investigation for months for identity scams, phishing, fake consulting, and much, much more. When I looped in my wife's PI contact, they confirmed everything.
No way, I don't believe you. You're bluffing.
You think so? Go check your front door.
What do you mean, what's going on at my front door? Oh my god, the police are already here?
Wow, they got there faster than I thought they would. I told them all about your role in the scheme. Impersonating a lawyer, attempting to extort a former spouse, colluding with a known scammer. You've got a lot to answer for, young lady.
Wait, you didn't just report me, you told them where I am?
Yes, Laura, of course I did. You committed a crime and tried to drag me into it.
Oh, but it wasn't real. It was just an act. I was never gonna push it that far.
Once again, doesn't matter. You impersonated legal counsel, fabricated laws, and demanded payment. That's not a joke. That's a criminal offense.
Oh my god, I didn't think you'd actually... I thought maybe you'd get a bit angry, maybe yell at me or something, but I never expected you'd actually call the cops on me.
You think I'm still the guy I was when we broke up, the guy who overlooked everything. But this is the new and improved Harrison, Laura. This Harrison passed the bar exam on his first try. He works in a real law office, taking real cases, making real deals, and moving real money.
The cops are knocking on my door. What should I do?
I suggest you answer, and maybe don't lie to them.
Harrison, please, you don't have to do this. Can't we talk about this? How about you and I have dinner and talk things over? If you want, we could stay out a little bit later and have some good old-fashioned fun, for old time's sake. And don't worry, I'll never tell your wife a thing.
You're not texting a doormat anymore, Laura. You're texting an attorney, one who believes in actual consequences.
Come on, I thought for sure seducing you would work.
Good luck in court, and don't forget you'll be facing a real judge this time. Don't try to seduce him under oath. They arrested her just a few minutes later. No shouting, no drama, just a quiet knock, and Laura walked out with the officers like it was a dentist appointment. I guess even she knew the performance was over. I didn't press charges myself. She didn't get any money from me, and honestly, the consequences already in motion are more than enough. Derek's facing a pile of charges, including fraud, impersonation, and attempted extortion, and Laura's wrapped up in most of them. The investigation into their little side hustle is far from over. Apparently, she's been telling mutual friends Harrison should represent me for free for old time's sake. I had to laugh at that. She still doesn't get it. Not the law, not me, not the way actions work in the real world. But I do, and I'm just getting started. Next week, I begin work as an associate at a real firm with real clients and real problems to solve. People who need help, not theatrics. Laura wanted someone to play pretend. I chose something better. I chose the truth. And now, I want to use the truth to help as many people as I can.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.